Good evening, Steelers. A little quick cheeky paint and chat this evening. I thought I'd do. I'm kind of stuck upstairs for the moment while the house is being damp proofed. So I figured I may as well go upstairs, do some painting, sit out the heat wave, and also a little cheeky paint and chat while I'm at it. Because there's nothing wrong with that. And tonight I'm going to be doing a little bit of work on these Prussian Landwehr skirmishers. That's the plan. What I will do is I will share this right now on Twitter, see if anybody's interested in coming along. You never know, there might be. I see a couple of people are already here. And let me just get this ticked up first of all. And then we'll crack on with it, I guess. Because I've not really done a paint and chat for a little while. I thought, well, why not, eh? Sunday night, it makes no harm. I've got work tomorrow for the first time in a week, and I am going to be stuck into doing that. So if you're there, say hello, drop a message in the chat. Don't be immodest. Also hit that like button as well. I said the last live video I did a while back was quite a while back, a few weeks ago. So I've not really had the chance of late to do any, but with all my stuff upstairs at the moment on the big computer, I might even try and set up a table and do some live gaming later on in the week, but we'll see, because I'm going to Scotland later on this week, so I may be around, I may be not. But tonight is a night of Prussian Landwehr. These are for the Wacht am Sambra scenario that Jeremy Guigan came up with. These are ones I finished earlier on today, so I'm just going to put these to one side for now. Okay, Hi Eric Elder, how you doing? Thanks for sharing Churning Command World War 1. No problem. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. It seems to be currently it's my second most. Hi Andrew, it's currently my second most popular video on the channel in the last 28 days. So that's good. There's obviously a lot of people interested in the First World War Chain of Command variant, which is nice to see. So tonight I thought I'd at least just get these Prussians block coloured in, so they're all nice. I've already primed them in white, because I was just going to help me paint the cross belts and all the other bits and pieces that I've got to do. Anything for an easy life, me. But as I'm just currently blocking in the Prussian blue of their uniforms, it makes things a lot easier for later on. These will just get, once I've block coloured everything, I will just then do an Agrax Earthshade wash, and that will be, then I will just highlight, going back with the original colours, nice and easy. That's generally all I do for 15mm figures. You don't need to do a great deal of stuff. There's no point doing tons of detail because you can't see it on the tabletop anyway. And these are not going in my display cabinet. That's the main thing. As you can see, it's just their tunics about that. I suppose they're not tunics. I'm not sure what you call them. Coats. They're longer than tunics. 5 people watching. No likes yet. Give me a like if you're watching and if you're liking it. If you don't like it, give me a dislike, either or. And say hello in the comments as well if you're watching. If you're watching while painting, there you go. They start rolling in, all one of them. That's what it's up there now too. Pushing the boundaries here, people. But yes, if you just joined, I just thought I'd do a little cheeky paint and chat, just because I'm currently stuck upstairs in the house because there's workmen coming tomorrow for the next week or so to damp proof the house, so everything has to be moved upstairs. And as I say, I was actually planning on doing some live stuff this week while I was off, but I just didn't get a chance. I had a chance, I just didn't feel like it. But that's the way it is. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So I've got, I think, 20 of these in total, which is enough for 3 groups of 6. I think there's 19 in here. They always seem to give me extra figures whenever I buy any from Baby Miniatures. I've already done the first 12, so that's 2 of the groups. 2 groups of skirmishers. I was looking at, is it hot in your attic? God, yes, it is. But it's hot everywhere else, Andrew, so I might as well be up here painting than anywhere else. The heat of the day has kind of passed a little bit now, at least. But yeah, I couldn't even get up here earlier because it was so hot. You literally break out in sweat as soon as you get up. I was looking at a review of Shakos and Bayonets, I think it's called, isn't it? The new additional skirmish game for muskets and tomahawks. I was reading a review of it in the Wargames Strategy and Soldiers (WSS), and it was quite interesting. I might buy a copy to do a couple of videos on it. So I think it's a relatively popular game. It looks reasonably simple as well, from what I've seen. And if it's skirmish, I've already got the skirmishers because I've already got everything for sharp practice. So I can just transfer things over. Not that sharp practice isn't a good game, obviously. It's just a different game, isn't it? And I may as well use these figures for different rule sets. Have a look at a bit beyond the laddies. Go on, 5 people here, 2 likes. Hey Bjorn, good to see you here. How are you doing? I don't know if anybody got an alert for this, but I was just sat having my tea, watching YouTube, and I thought, you know what? Time for another painting session. Mac Daddy, happy painting. Why do you think board game rules and miniatures board game rules of similar scale are approached with completely disparate mechanics? Do you mean by do you mean miniatures games and board games of the same thing? So like Undaunted Normandy and say Sharp Practice, for example. Chain of Command, for example. And why are they different? Well, I would say it's the audience of the board game or the war game, largely because we, as war gamers or as board gamers, we expect certain mechanics in games. 2, I would say that board games and war games have got very different parameters in the way that they work on the table, and board games are by design restricted to the components within the game itself, whereas a war game is a lot freer and a lot more open because you've got you can set up a table any way you want, a million different ways. Whereas when you produce a board game, so for example, like Undaunted, I've not played it, but so I know enough about it. There's only, there's a certain number of ways you can set up the boards and how the pieces interact. Whereas with wargaming, it's more of a sandbox way of doing things. So those parameters are the way that they would work. I don't think Chain of Command wouldn't work if it was a board game because there's too many variables in it. That's not to say that board games are constrictive, far from it. They just do things differently. I guess is a probably long way of saying it. I think there are just intrinsic differences between war games and board games that one or the other kind of has to hold to. And also, I'd say as well, I think war gamers, and this is not meant to be an attack. Hi, Paul. This is not meant to be a pat attack on anybody, but war gamers are very middle of the road when it comes to new ideas within wargaming. It takes a long time. You just started painting after you broke your wrist. I hope you're feeling much better, Bjorn. Yeah, you do have catching up to do. I think that board gamers buy board games looking for new mechanics. They want something new in the game. They want something different and interesting. Wargamers are less inclined to do that, and you just have to ask Rich and Nick at the Two Fat Lardies about that. Things like, I know it's all very normal that the people have staggered movements and activations and things. When they started writing rules, it was definitely I go, you go, and that was it. Nobody had thought about anything else really, or very few people had, should I say. So the board gaming audience looks for innovation. They buy board games not always on the theme, but on the mechanics of the game. And you see that a lot when you read reviews in Board Game Geek, for example. There's it's people talk a lot about the mechanics of the game and how different they are, whereas they don't. The skin over the top of it doesn't matter so much. It could be a game set in Normandy in 1944. It could be a game set in a sushi bar in Tokyo in 1993. As long as the mechanic is interesting, that's why people are buying it. There are some board games that are really close to or even more detailed than miniature war games, like ASL and Heroes of Normandy. Yeah, absolutely. That's the other thing as well. Board games can allow that amount of minutiae detail in them, which war games possibly don't as well. But they can do, I guess. You can make it like a role-playing game. I think it's down to audience perceptions. It's what people want out of it. But come on, people! There's 12 people in right now. 3 likes. Give me at least 2 more likes, please. Just give them to me. I'm painting Prussians here for you in the heat of the attic. It's like being in the jungles of Malaya. I'm dying up here. There we go. There's a 4th like. Let's get it up. I was thinking about Malaya a lot today, actually, because I've been thinking after reading the Australian military history series book that I got for my birthday on Malaya. It just struck me that I should be doing some Bag the Hun over Malaya. Japanese Zeros versus Brewster Buffaloes, and what they call them, hurricanes or hurricanes. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? I don't think I've seen many people doing that. Whenever you see Zeros on the table for war games, they're usually it's usually more in the open Pacific, fighting against American fighters like Corsairs and Hellcats and things. So it would be very nice to have some Brewster Buffaloes getting chewed up by the Nakajima Buffaloes v Zeros. Yeah, it would be a massive. Hiya, Kevin, you're right. Good to have you. It would be a massacre, Buffaloes versus Zeros. Yeah, but it'd be a case of how long can the Buffaloes last? It's a foregone conclusion, but can they make it out alive? You probably have them get pounced on by the Ki-43s. It'd just be nice to have something slightly interesting and different, wouldn't it? You'd say the biggest difference is the board game has less of the hobby side. Board games really don't have that unless you do print and play. That is also very true. You buy a box and you get everything in that box to play that game. Which again goes back to the point of making it, a war game is more of a sandbox in that you've got to create the armies, you've got to create all the things that come with it. You don't buy. Well, it's changed a bit now in general, but in general, you don't just buy a box and hit the table with it. I mean, that has changed with stuff like bolt action and things. With Warlord selling big boxes of things, and quite a lot of other, companies having starter boxes. But the starter box again is not the be all and end all. It is also it's also the start of a collection or the start of a game. I'm just applying to my life. So I think they're the differences. You can walk into a board game shop, pick up a board game, and be playing it that afternoon once you've read the rules. A war game, even if you pick up a starter set, it'll take at least a day, I would say, before you put the figures together, read the rules, and then get it on the table. So there is that difference in things. Anyway, I hope everyone liked my recent First World War video. I know Andrew's already said he liked it. It's certainly done some good numbers, and when I say good numbers, over 500 people have watched it, which for me is good numbers. It's in my top two, I think, at the moment, over the last 28 days of videos, which I'm rather pleased with. What is everyone else painting tonight? Tell me that. Get that chat pumping. Let me know what you're up to. Like I say, I just thought I'd come and try and get as much done on these Prussians as possible. I'm not going to get them finished tonight, but if I do an hour, just an hour is enough, and then I can go back to playing Red Dead Redemption 2. Barbarians, Andrew. Is that part of the Twitter challenge, is it? Everybody's mad for barbarians at the moment. I like these Twitter challenges, they're funny. But I won't be doing any because I have other things that I want to paint. But I always enjoy watching everybody else's. I think they're great. It's good seeing things come together. I don't know if you could see these. These are the ones I finished earlier on. These are the some of the Prussians I did. I don't know if that's in focus yet. I'm using my old camera here. So these are some of the Prussians that I'd started them last week sometime. I just thought I'll finish them off. I started painting them last night while watching Sean from God's Own Scales stream last night. I just sat in the loft and just made my way through them. You're finishing painting your Westphalian army. These are Westphalian Landwehr. Building Hetzers and Marders battle group. Good stuff, good stuff. Everybody loves a Hetzer and a Marder. And you can never have too many. You'll be painting them in the 3-tone camo. These AB miniatures are marvellous things. They're a joy to paint. Absolute joy. They're lovely. I love them to bits. Just slightly oversized for 15, but still lovely. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone else is a bit quiet out there. If you're watching, do say hello. Throw your tuppence in. As you can see at the moment, all I'm doing is block colouring these. This is actually Prussian blue as well by Vallejo. When I get on to doing the other figures, the actual Landwehr themselves, I'm going to probably make a video of it, of painting, because these are nice and easy. There's not many colours on them at all. Nice and easy. Oh, you know what? I completely forgot to paint their hats. I was leaving them for the black, but they shouldn't be black. They're blue. And I'll go back and do that in a second. Once the bluey's done, that's the major part of it, actually. The white is the probably next biggest part. And that's just because you've got to concentrate on the cross belts and things. Because I primed them in white, I've already pretty much half painted the white anyway. Because there's a little cheat. If I prime in white and they've got white on them, I don't bother. I don't bother painting it. There you go. It's already there. I'll just touch it up a bit. What are we saying? We've not watched it yet. I'm a little behind with viewing this week. I've been busy reorganising my games and storage area. Not done any painting for a few weeks. Don't worry, Kevin. I won't hold you to it. Any chance you were doing some more 6mm blue games anytime soon? Possibly, Andrew. I was thinking about it. At the moment, it is a wee bit hot up in the loft for gaming, especially a game I've not played for a while. I can't remember the rules on, but yeah, I wouldn't mind it. Just need to really make the solo version a little bit more streamlined, I think, than what I did. Somebody had done it on I think on an Excel sheet, and they sent it to me ages ago. I never had a chance to try it out. I can't remember who it was. Steve, hi. Alex putting some AK-47 Republic hardened militia. It's so hot, my paint is drying very quickly. Well, that's one thing. At least you can, your paint is. You can move on to the next bit of paint once you've done one bit. You don't have to wait too long. But yeah, I'm struggling up here as well. Doing the 3-tone camo scheme on the Hetzers. The Dunkelgelb green and the Armadas. Yeah, sounds good. I like them when they're just done with the green. It looks cool. I did the ambush pattern on my Hetzers. I like that as well, with lots of little dots here and there. But it does obviously date them very specifically to 1944 onwards. This is the last one, then I'll just go back and do all their hats. How long? This has only taken me 20 minutes. It's pretty good going. This kind of shows you how much you can get done really in a short amount of time. If I wasn't lazy, I could get up before work and do stuff like this for half an hour, but I prefer that half an hour in bed personally. Because I'm lazy. I'll show you here how hot it is at the moment in this loft, because I'm not the only one that's struggling with it. You see that? See, she wagged her tail. She said, now the world can see her. Now that should get me more likes, if nothing else. A little dead cat. She's just been up out on the roof. Because she's found that if she goes on the roof now, she can get back in through the loft hatch. There you go. There's another like. I like for Tiny. She's become a bit of a star in the videos of late. Just started watching and the phone rings, sod's law. Oh well. You're back now, Paul. You watch it on the catch up. Don't worry, you haven't missed much. I'm sure the phone call was far more important. Ice Cream Man is out. I bet he's making some right money this weekend. Been non-stop at it, I think. I know I would have been. Sorry, just concentrating while I'm painting the hats on these little fellas. He wasn't. Go on, fellas, let's get some lights for the cat. Yeah. Tiny likes a lights. See if I can get it to sit up. There you are. Tiny. No, she's not having it. It's way too hot. Poor little thing. Oh, just as well they enjoy sleeping so much. The cats aren't going to enjoy it for the next week because they we've got builders in for at least a week, so they're not going to enjoy that, I don't think. Unfortunately for them. I haven't told them yet. It's going to be a shock. Just wondering how many of these, the hats on these fellas, whether some of them are in black caps or some of them are in the blue hats. They're a bit of a mix. It's hard to tell. There you go, 7 likes there. That was for Tiny. Painted 15 Prussian 32-man battalions in 15mm a few years ago from my blimey. That must have taken some time. I don't know if I'll be able to cope with that. I hope we got paid for it. Or at least got something out of it. I can't even work out how many figures that is. 32 times 15. I wasn't working, so I had the time. Well, yeah, I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? If you got the time to do it, then you got the time to do it. But at least a Prussian uniform is relatively easy to paint. It's not like all the lace and stuff on the British and French, is it? That's one thing, I guess. Oof. I'm starting to feel the heat up here, to be honest. I don't know if I'm going to last. This is a bit of a kill. Not even doing anything, I'm sweating cobs. I don't feel like I'm doing anything. Hardly working or anything. But yeah, I was thinking, depending on the weather this week, I might actually do a few more live videos, just because I'm kind of stuck upstairs really at the moment. And so while the builders will be in for the week, so it might just be a chance to get set up and play a few games, like of Command and Colours or something like that on a smallish board. But we'll see. We'll see. No promises. There you go, there's the last one. I'm knocking the water back at the moment. Well, what I think I might do is I might just paint the hands and the faces. I may leave it to that. Like I say, it's a bit much up here at the moment. Does anybody know how long this heat wave is meant to last? Until Christmas, perhaps. Because it'll severely hamper my painting. Where's my tan yellow? Where are you at? I probably should at some point actually organise these paints, because they're never organised and they're all over the place. Been painting dismounted World War II Russian Cossacks today. Excellent. Sounds good. What scale? 28mm? And where did they come from? I'm going to guess they're 28mm. Yeah, I think I'm 15mm. Ooh. Where are they from, Paul? Peter Pig. I'm going to stop answering before you answer because I've got it wrong so far every time. Evening, Sean. I thought it was hot yesterday. It's been returned up to 11 today. It certainly has. It's beyond 11. Cook a chicken in this heat. I'm just saying, Sean, if you've only just joined us, I probably won't last very long because I'm up in the cooler in the loft, and it's killing me. Mix of Battlefront and Peter Pig. Oh, okay. Where did you get them from? Somebody else? Is that you don't know what they're from? Are they nice figures? That's the main thing. I saw, Sean, that you'd been given a copy of Ogre by somebody. That's very nice, isn't it? A lovely present. Repainting them. Of course, of course. Oh, actually, I might do the black on these as well. Just trying to do all the, just nibble away at the little bits on them, really. Just to, because I've got all week. Apart from on Thursday when I'm up in Scotland. Best time to use a web palette, absolutely. Cool myself down with it. And say, yeah, you've not opened it. Dettle jobs. It was a very nice nice thing for someone to send through to you. Do you know who sent it, or was it completely anonymous? What's one of them, Sean? A web palette? Don't worry, Ken's not here. We could talk about some interesting chat on Twitter going on about the price of figures earlier on. If anybody saw that, and I know some of you did. With one night figure costing £8 from Footsaw Miniatures, which is expensive, but you're not forced to buy it. Visited a friend who had it lying around. I showed he was interested, and he said I could have it. Brilliant, excellent. No, he's a good friend. Excellency. Evening, Tom. Looking love those boys in blue. Thank you. And they are boys in blue. Again, I'm going to have to put the call out. There's 12 people watching. I've only got 7 likes. What's the disparity here, folks? Unless the other 5 people don't like it and have disliked the video. Even then, doesn't matter because, it's still my YouTube algorithms popping. Just slowly working my way through these fellas. So I think I'll do the black on them because there's not a great deal of black on these. I don't think I can concentrate on doing the blue, the white, should I say, tonight, or even the green, because the green is just tiny stripes of collars and bands on their hats. So I might just do their shoes and cartridge bags and leave it at that. I'm like, well, maybe I'll push through. Cheers, Sean. Thank you for that. There we go. Only 2 more of you now to like it. 3 more of you, and we'll get a full house. Not that I'm applying the pressure or anything. Sorry for what you said. Where are those minis from? These are from AB Miniatures. I don't think I did say anyway. I got them through Eureka here in the UK. They're fantastic sculpts. Easily probably the finest Napoleonic 15mm out there. However, they are 18mm really, and are sold as such. But so they're slightly taller than most 15mm really, but they are very nice. So I thought it's worthwhile getting these and just jumping on board, because I'm not going to build up a massive collection of Napoleonic stuff. He says, ha ha, dupe. Pinocchio's nose. What's 3 mils between friends? Absolutely. That's what she said. And we are getting last one. Yeah, I wanted to do at least an hour tonight, but we'll have to see. It's nice. You can even see the mutton chops on some of these fellas. Obviously, they're farmers or something in real life, or out of the military. Tiny's up and about. She's going to have a look, see what's going on. Let's have a look at her. Come here, Tiny. They want to see you. Say hello. There she is. Look. See, give me a like for Tiny at least. The star of the show. We all start with a small project in mind and grow so quickly. Absolutely. I did start a Napoleonics, and it suddenly jumped up to. I'm currently on about, I think I worked it out, about 150 figures so far in the last 6 months. This is me going from saying I'm not going to pay to the 15mm Napoleonics. Austro-Hungarians, they'll be nice. Oh, I'm going to need another glass of water in a minute. Right, I am now on to, I'm going to do some black on these, and then I may call it an evening, but we'll see. I'll keep saying that, and then I start another paint, and we'll see. And so there's, yes, it is an army painter wet palette. It's kind of hard to say because I'm not sure I'm using the thing right, and I found that I am able to reinvigorate them with a bit of water, just to get them to bring out a little bit of colour on them. But I'm also finding that I don't feel like I'm using any less paint than I was when I had a dry palette. But then maybe it's just because I'm using the thing wrong itself. I'm not entirely sure. I think this one may have dried out now, so I may need a little top up of water in it anyway. So I think that is a thing that seemed to be plaguing it. And I've been struggling to find any tutorials really online as to how to use them. There's a couple. They just say, "Oh, put water in it, then use it." So, well, what happens when it dries out, or what do I do with the paints? But I can, some of these they'll last for a couple of days at least. How much water do you have underneath the sponge layer at the moment? Very little, I don't think. There's some in there because he's wet and damp, but there's not a great deal. I seem to remember reading on it's clammy. I was talking to my mate, and he said the top of it is supposed to feel clammy but not wet. I feel like I'm not using it right as well. It seems to dry up somehow despite me topping it up. Yeah, I'm the same really. I don't know. I wonder if the seal is broken on it. That might be what's drying it out. I'm not entirely sure. Or the seal itself isn't particularly tight. That might be another reason. This fella's got a bayonet. I tried to work it out, but probably possible like it after. If you use it, I'll lose it. Yeah, I mean, some people swear by him. Sydney Round certainly does. He thinks they're excellent. And Sydney's painting is fantastic. So if somebody is that good, the only advice I can give is to keep the sponge layer wet and almost submerged. A loose seal will oddly help because it stops his stinking. So, but then the problem is with that, Tom, is that water gets on top of the sheet, and then the paints that are put on it start swimming around and swim into each other. Because I've done that as well in the past, where I've put in more water than I thought I needed, and then, like I say, the paints just merged into one another once I put them on. Unless I kept it incredibly flat, which is very difficult to do if you're moving it about. I guess that might be the problem. Don't move it about. But then it takes up quite a bit of space on the tabletop. I don't have a huge amount of space anyway, so. More investigation is needed. I think at the end of the day, it's not making me use any more paint than I did in the past. So it's like a sum of. It's just basically comes together really as a balanced out and tricky game of avoiding the edges. You know what I mean? Yeah. End of the day, you still produce some gorgeous figures. Oh, cheers, Tom. I don't know about that. I produce tabletop figures quickly. That's my one talent, I would say. Go on, 13 watching, 9 likes. What's that about? Hit those buttons, people. I've even showed you a cat and everything. And she wasn't happy about it. And there we go. 10 likes, good stuff. Thank you for those. Of course, I mean, if you don't like the video, then don't like it. But, you're here now. So, would anybody like to see another Command and Colours First World War game played later down the week? Perhaps. No promises before I go any further. Because I enjoyed it. A couple of things I've got to get right with the solo rules, but it was an enjoyable game. Good to try out the Stuka Joe rules as well. Some years ago, I started a Brunswick Napoleonic army. Just found them in the garage. I'll have to do some touch upon repainting old minifigs. Oh, Brunswick's are dead easy. Black, black, and then their faces. Done. Next. And if you want to dry brush them, highlight them, just add a bit of khaki to your black. Done. Bam. Next. I will be doing the Brunswicks at some point because I do actually have the Duke of Brunswick as it's an AB miniatures. A little vignette I did for the Brunswicker challenge on Twitter a couple of years ago. Enjoyed the Mums game. Thanks, Paul. A lot of people did. It was very well liked. So it's something I will be doing again. Not that particular game, that particular battle, but I was thinking about doing some Through the Mud and Blood as well, actually. Have a look at that. So I've not played that for a long time. But it might just be an interesting rule set that people haven't considered. And having now played a lot of Lardy games, I get the ethos behind it. I didn't understand it when I first played it. Couldn't understand the big men concept, or the fact that people, were able to do different things. Whereas now, having played a Chain of Command and I Ain't Been Shot Mum and all the others, kind of have a better grip of how those things work. Wet palettes and more blending paints and keeping that blend for several days. Yeah, I usually don't blend paints that much, and I rarely use my wet palette. Yeah, I don't blend paints. They're straight out of the bottle or not at all. I was using it the other day when I was painting 28mm though. I painted some 1980s Soviet NBC suited chaps for Zona Alpha, because my mate has been browbeating me into it, and because I was mixing the paint on the go, the wet palette was perfect for that because it did keep it wet. We used Through the Mud and Blood for Easter Rising, Irish Civil War. Good idea. Yes, well, Irish Civil War and the Easter Rising. Oh, well, First World War straight away, aren't they? 1916, and then 1922, isn't it? So yeah, I can see why it worked very well for that. The blacks and tans, eh? All probably suffering from shell shock in the trenches. Right. All right, folks. Well, I've done black there. Don't know. Should I do one more? One more colour? What will the audience vote? If I do, it's going to be flat earth. My favourite named paint. Audience, vote now. Say yes if I should paint flat earth on their satchels and their bases. Say no. If not, yes. I was thinking of doing a Chain of Command scenario for every British Civil War. Yeah, I've seen people doing that for the Trumpton riots. It was at Partisan a couple of years ago, and they were using a mix of Chain and Command, blue and orange on the house. Nope, I'm not doing the tiny bits. That's for another day when I'm not sweating my pants off. And yeah, it was very British Civil War, but Trumpton riots. It worked very well, I think. Using Warhammer Hero historical Grey War rules through the prepping painting for First World War Germans. Yeah, I've never looked into that. I know they exist, but I've never really looked into them. The Great War rules. The fact that it's Warhammer kind of puts me off, but each to their own. At the end of the day, look, you see, I've just dipped a bit of painting, bits of water into this paint here, this brown. Evening, Bernard, and just a tiny little bit of water has basically just reinvigorated that and just got the paint back out again. So that's what and that's been there for probably a couple of weeks now. That's been there since the last figures I painted. So that is perfectly usable paint there. How's the weather? The weather is hot as you could ever imagine. Fingers crossed we're past the peak of it and it's heading down, but we'll see. Right, I only had one vote, and that was from Andrew, and it was a resounding yes. That's 100% as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going in with brown. Just going to do their backpacks and the bases, and then I am going to leave it tonight. like I said, this heat is sending me cross-eyed. 32 today. Yeah, I don't know the exact heat. Oh, it's 25 degrees apparently, according to the computer. Which, if you've had as much rain as we've had recently, is quite heavy. My wife over in Vienna was saying it was 37 the other week. 37. I can't even count that high. I'm currently paying 28mm Napoleonic, 12 cents US a piece. Material cost, nice. What do you think is the future for 3D printing? Will it be a boon or a bust? I've been molting in the northeast today, I'll bet. It's been molting. 3D printing, I think the future is 3D printing, to be honest. I think we are staring it in the face right now. Compared to what 3D printing was 10 years ago, it is massively changed and shifted, and people have taken to it like ducks to water, really, especially sci-fi gamers. And heading that way next week. Eesh. Stay out of the sun, get water in you, stay hydrated. Especially in sci-fi and fantasy gaming, it's definitely taken off hugely. Well, again, just talking about this on Twitter, I think that although the age of the big game has almost come to an end, not come to an end, but it's on the wane, I think 3D printing is going to push it back to the fore, because people will be able to suddenly print hundreds and thousands of figures at home for very little cost, material wise anyway, not time wise, obviously. And I think people will suddenly go, oh look, I could quite easily do, a massive game of I don't know, what's it called, black powder, or the old Napoleonic rules and things. Through the mud would be interesting to see. Yes, it would for me as well, because I've not read the rules for a long time. I have read them, and they're very similar to a lot of the other Lardy rules at the time. So there's I don't think there's a great deal to learn. But yeah, I certainly think that 3D printing is definitely on the rise and is in our future for now. Solo CNC is great fun, even without cobbling together solo card mechanics. Command and Colors, is that CNC? Yeah, I play it a lot. I've done loads of videos on it. In fact, if you have a look on the channel, there's a whole playlist of Command and Colors solo games. The only hard part of doing it solo is doing the tactical cards. But I think Stuka Joe put together a good set of solo rules, and they're very easy, very simple to use. They must be, because I played them. And you know me with getting rules wrong. If there's a rule, I will get it wrong. Right, let me just get these bases done, then I am out. You've had your lotter from me. And it's been an hour anyway. What more do you want? A bit of free entertainment for an hour. Just give that a little dab more, because I'm doing the base. I need a little bit of paint. But yeah, I think that's what is good about the wet palette, is if I were to add some water to any of these paints that have been sat here for such a long time, they would suddenly become usable again. And that's a good thing. Where did I get this awesome t-shirt from? I made it, Tom. Oh, it says Storm of Steel Wargaming on it. You can find it on my... If you have a look in the description of the video, you'll see the merchandise list. If you click on those, that'll take you to my shop on Redbubble, which has a ton of different designs on there. Not just Storm of Steel ones, but archaeology ones and some Viking ones and stuff. Have a look. Take a look at it. Plunged into Company of Heroes recently. Fantastic game. Maybe I'll indulge the board game. I don't know. I know the name, but I don't know the rules themselves. I just know the name. you'll be. I've just got some merch. Cheers. You'll be interested to know, Bernard, that I recently got a new storage box for Arkham Horror, a massive one. It stores something like, I think it's 1,400 cards. That said, I've filled it pretty much already, so I need a second one for my next set when the next scenarios come out in November, September time. So that's something I wanted to do the last couple of days, is play some Arkham Horror, because I just finished the Circle Undone campaign the other day. Of course, I lost it, but then 2 of my investigators were killed within the first 2 scenarios, so that was fun. And then I went back in. You've got the same when you fill a second. Have you got sleeved cards though? I don't sleeve my cards. I decided not to, because there's only me that plays it. Do you have a group of friends that you play with, or do you just play it on your own? Because I find it's a game that you need to put a lot of effort in. It's not just something you can pick up, is it? Really, it's you've really got to think about how you're upgrading and stuff. And I've yet to find a group of people who also play the game or as like the game as much as I do. My gaming buddies, they wouldn't be so interested in it. Akachi sacrificed herself in a Circle Undone. Oh, dear me. Yeah, it was Caroline Fern and can't remember the other one. Can't remember who it was. But then I picked up Nathaniel and Harvey. I got them right to the end until they got hammered. Hammered by Azathoth. And now they are stuck at the edge of the universe, never to be seen again. It's a hard one, Circle Undone, it really is. I was not expecting it to get as dark as it did. But enjoyable. The only do you have everything? By the way, Bernadette. The only thing I'm missing is Forgotten Age. Living in the countryside south of France on your lonesome, yeah. Yeah, the only one I'm missing is Forgotten Age. I'll wait till my next payday, and I think I'll just buy it as a whole. Just get it in, and 2 of the standalones, the Curse of the Regaru and what's the other one? Carnival of Horrors, is it? And not Barkham, not Barkham either. I wasn't that bothered about it. I just got the Guardians of the Abyss recently, and also what's it called? The Blob That Ate Everything. I've not played them yet. It's a fantastic game though, and it was my birthday last week, and I got a copy of Eldritch Horror, the not Masters of Nyarlathotep. It is. Oh, which one is it? The Dreamlands expansion. Yeah, I noticed that Guardians of the Abyss was extremely difficult. Tried to take Harvey through it, and he got a hammer slapped down. Could talk about this all night long. I should do some live streams of Arkham Horror. I don't know how many people will enjoy it though. $17 watching, 11 likes. Come on, you 6 folks. Hit that like button. or I'm just going to keep saying it, and that's all you'll get, an hour of me saying hit the likes. You got the lot too, big box, etc., with all cards in it. Yeah, Eldritch Horror. I've not got everything. I've got Massive Nyarlathotep, and I've got the Dreamlands, as I just mentioned. I've got another expansion, Dead of the Night, I think it is. And then for Arkham Horror, I've got everything so far. So I've got the Innsmouth one that they did, Dark Waters, and the and I can't remember the name of it. It's another one that's set in the Dreamlands. So I've got that as well. I'm looking at them now. I just don't have the time to play those. They're such big games, aren't they? Dreamlands is the best. Yeah, with the big board, extra board on it. They take up quite a lot of time. Good afternoon. But then that's why I think they're worth it, really. They're expensive, but the amount of game you get out of it is excellent, I think. And the production values are just so high. Are you going to get the new board game, the Battlestar Galactica Arkham Horror board game? Evening, Andy. Set up for a week. It's Unfathomable, that's what it's called, isn't it? It looks good. Some nice figures of Dagon and Mother Hydra. Right. A couple more of these. You've just joined me a bit too late there, Andy, I'm afraid. Not your theme. No, it's a reworking of the Battlestar Galactica game, but Arkham Horror style. It's set before the Arkham Files stuff, on a boat that is being attacked by Dagon and Mother Hydra. Have a look on Fantasy Flight Games. You need 3 to play. Yeah, you do on the Eldritch and the Arkham Horror board game. Interesting, enjoyable. Going to watch your last video. We'll one track it through. There's good stuff. Go and get a cold drink. Cheers, Kev. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again some point in the future with probably some more Prussians, I would have thought. Yeah, have a look on the FFG website. There's Unfathomable, it's called. I'm just calling it Battlestar Galactica because it's just based on that original game, basically. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're saying you need 3 to play it. Yes, of course you do, because you need somebody being dodgy. I apologise. I get what you're saying now. Does Sheffield University archaeology shutting down affect me? No, yes and no, Andrew. Those Napoleonic Prussians, that's right. It affects Claire in that it cuts down her choice. She's a research fellow there, my wife. So it cuts down her ability to be able to work here in Sheffield, because obviously if it doesn't exist, she can't work there. Also, a PhD is at Sheffield as well. I've also been working closely with the people from the archaeology department in one of my jobs, doing community archaeology at a prisoner of war camp, and they've been doing that. So again, with it closing down, it means that they are no longer involved in that project, and I'm not sure what they're going to be doing as part of it. So that's the big problem, really. It doesn't, like I say, it doesn't directly affect me, but it has an impact on the stuff that I'm doing, and certainly on the stuff that my wife is doing and what she's planning on doing. Yeah, it sucks massively. Unfortunately, Sheffield University only really like engineering, and they've been after the archaeology department for years, by the sounds of it. And it's all common knowledge, this, so no am I saying it, but it looks like everything was done really quickly and surreptitiously. I think there was a 13-minute meeting that they had that nobody was allowed to reply to with the Vice Chancellor. none of the people from the archaeology department were all on mute during the meeting, and nobody was allowed the right to reply or anything. And they basically had 13 minutes, and they were told that they were shutting the department, despite the massive outcry, because it's world leading, really. The work that Mike Parker Pearson did at Stonehenge through Sheffield University is incredible. It's well known for its world leading archaeological research across the world. And that's it. That's the way it goes. Right, folks, it is an hour and 5 minutes into it. I am going to go and chill because I'm back to work after a week off tomorrow. Yeah, skim through COVID. Absolutely, that's a problem because they can't get together to discuss it properly because obviously COVID issues and things. But anyway, she was attending there now and she's out. Oh, really? Yeah, I know. A friend of mine, he's just started his PhD a couple of just a few months ago, this year, in fact. So God knows what's going to happen to him. Whether they'll honour it or not, I really don't know. We'll have to see. But yes, I am going to duck out anyway. And that's a video for another time. Is the Sheffield department closing, I suppose. I shall see you all. Like I say, I'll probably do another live video at some point down this week because I want to finish these little fellas off. As you can see, I managed to get them to that point. I've got most of the block colours on them at this point, just little bits and pieces. And I shall talk to you all later. Go and watch Andy at 9 o'clock. I might pop in, and if I do, I do. Once I go to bed, we'll see. But thanks a million, everyone, and good.